What you do in the first 60 minutes after you wake up might be the single most overlooked factor in whether you will thrive, not just survive, for the next 3 decades. You could live 30 more years after 65. That is not a guarantee. That is not a promise. But what research is showing us is that people who commit to certain morning habits experience not just longer lives, but longer health span, which means more years of actually feeling good, moving well, and doing the things that matter to you. Most people think that longevity is determined by genetics, or by luck, or by chance. But what researchers have discovered over the past 20 years is far more empowering than that. Yes, genetics play a role. But the science is now clear that what you do every single morning, starting from the moment you wake up, has an enormous influence on whether the next 30 years of your life will be vibrant or whether they will feel like a slow decline. The truth is that many people in their late 60s, 70s, and beyond feel like their body is slowing down and they assume that this is just the inevitable cost of aging. But that assumption is wrong. Research shows us the opposite. Intentional morning habits can actually arrest decline. They can stabilize your strength. They can improve your energy. They can keep your mind sharp. This is not about adding years of frailty or dependency. This is about active, mobile, engaged years. This is about being able to travel with your family, play with your grandchildren, pursue hobbies, and feel genuinely alive. So what exactly happens to our bodies after 65 if we do not intentionally intervene? Well, several things begin to shift. After 65, many people experience what is called sarcopenia, which is a loss of muscle mass. This happens quietly and gradually if you are not actively working to prevent it. People also experience reduced metabolic flexibility, which means your body becomes less efficient at switching between different fuel sources and burning fat. Mobility and flexibility often decrease. The quality of sleep tends to decline because your circadian rhythm becomes less sensitive to light and environmental cues. Cognition can slow down if the brain is not stimulated early in the day when it is most primed for learning. And many people report that their energy levels throughout the day become unstable. They feel great for an hour or two and then crash. This is not because you are broken. This is actually a response to inactivity and to disrupted circadian rhythms. But here is the important part. None of this is inevitable. These changes happen primarily when people are sedentary and when they ignore the biological signals their body is sending them. The good news is that the reverse is true as well. When you work with your body instead of against it, the changes can be dramatic. The reason that morning routines are so powerful has to do with how your body actually works at the biological level. Your body runs on a circadian rhythm. This is your internal biological clock. Your circadian rhythm is most sensitive and most flexible in the first 1 to 2 hours after you wake up. During this window, your body is primed to set the tone for the entire day. When you expose yourself to natural light in the early morning, you send a powerful signal to your brain. That signal tells your circadian clock what time it is. This regulates your cortisol rhythm, which is a hormone that should naturally be higher in the morning and lower at night. If your cortisol rhythm is synchronized, you will feel naturally alert and energized in the morning. You will feel naturally tired at night. Your metabolism will function better. Your mood will be more stable. And research shows that people with synchronized cortisol rhythms sleep better at night, even though the direct effect is happening in the morning. Movement in the morning activates your mitochondria. Your mitochondria are often called the powerhouses of your cells. They are the tiny structures inside your cells that produce energy. When you move in the morning, you activate these structures. You signal to your body that you want to be active and strong. This activates genes associated with muscle building and muscle maintenance. For people over 65, this is crucial because without this signal, your body defaults to a state of slow muscle loss. Hydration after a full night of sleep replenishes your nervous system and reactivates your cells. When you sleep, you are not drinking water. By morning, your body is dehydrated. Your blood volume is lower. Your cellular function is suppressed. Drinking water first thing jumpstarts everything. It restores hydration. It boosts your metabolism. It helps your kidneys filter and clean your blood. It improves mental clarity. And it sets the stage for everything else you do. Fasted morning activity, which means movement before eating, may optimize fat metabolism and activate cellular repair processes. This does not mean you have to fast. But research on intermittent fasting and time-restricted eating suggests that the time between your last meal the night before and your first movement in the morning is when your body is in a particularly good state for fat burning and for cellular repair. This does not mean you need to exercise hard. Gentle movement works just as well. Your brain is primed for neuroplasticity in the early morning hours. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to form new neural pathways and to learn new things. Early in the morning, your prefrontal cortex is particularly active. This is the part of your brain associated with learning, focus, decision-making, and emotional regulation. That is why people often have their best ideas in the morning. That is why learning something new feels easier in the morning. This is also why checking your email or social media first thing is particularly damaging. It hijacks this peak brain state and fills it with external stimuli instead of your own intention. Now let us look at what the research actually shows about all of this. Research suggests that morning light exposure, somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes of natural light, improves sleep quality. It improves mood. It improves metabolic health. Studies published in major journals have tracked people over years and found that those with consistent morning light exposure have better sleep at night. They have more stable energy during the day. They have lower rates of depression. They have better metabolic markers. Studies also indicate that morning exercise, even gentle movement, preserves muscle mass and bone density much better than evening exercise. This is not because intense morning workouts are superior. Actually, for many older adults, intense morning exercise can be jarring and unsustainable. What the research shows is that consistent, moderate morning movement is one of the most powerful interventions we have for preventing muscle loss and maintaining bone density. Evidence shows that people with consistent morning routines have better sustained energy throughout the day. They have clearer cognition. They have lower depression rates. They have better focus. They have more stable moods. They report better quality of life. Researchers who have studied centenarians, people who live to 100 or beyond, have noticed something interesting. They often report early morning routines as a consistent factor in their lives. This does not mean that waking up at 4 in the morning is what made them live to 100. But what it does suggest is that intentional morning practices are a feature of many long lives. Morning hydration and light protein can stabilize your blood sugar throughout the day. When you start your day with water and some protein, you prevent the blood sugar crash that leads to fatigue, brain fog, and cravings later in the day. Your energy becomes stable. Your mood becomes stable. Your ability to make good decisions stays intact. Finally, circadian-aligned activity timing amplifies the benefits of exercise. This means that when you exercise in alignment with your circadian rhythm, your body responds even better than it would to the same exercise done at a misaligned time. This is why morning exercise is often more effective than evening exercise, not because morning is magical, but because it is aligned with your body's natural rhythms. So, what does this actually look like in practice? Here are the specific habits that make the biggest difference, and the good news is that they are simple. The first habit is immediate natural light exposure. Within 30 minutes of waking up, step outside or sit by a window. Get 15 to 30 minutes of natural light exposure. This does not have to be direct sunlight. It can be cloudy daylight. The light is still sending signals to your brain. This wakes up your circadian system. It boosts your cortisol appropriately. It improves your alertness. It improves your mood. And it improves your sleep quality that night. This is one of the most powerful interventions you can do, and it costs nothing. The second habit is hydration. Drink about 16 to 24 ounces of water immediately upon waking. Before coffee, before breakfast, before anything else. Just water. This rehydrates you after 8 hours of sleep. It jumpstarts your metabolism. It supports your kidney function. It improves mental clarity. And it prepares your body to move well. The third habit is gentle movement. Spend 10 to 15 minutes doing something that gets your body moving. This could be a short walk around your neighborhood or around your home. This could be gentle stretching. This could be yoga. This could be tai chi. This could be light resistance work with bands or light weights. This should not be high-intensity exercise first thing. Your cortisol is already elevated from waking. What you want is to move gently and signal to your body that you want to be active and strong. This activates your muscles. It improves your circulation. and it tells your body to build and maintain muscle rather than lose it. The fourth habit is mindful eating or an intentional fasting decision. Some people choose to eat breakfast. Some people choose to fast until later in the morning. Both approaches can work. The key is intention and nutrition. If you eat breakfast, prioritize protein and healthy fat. This could be eggs with avocado. This could be Greek yogurt with nuts. This could be a simple omelet with vegetables. Avoid sugar-heavy breakfasts that cause energy crashes. If you choose to fast, that is fine for some people. The key is listening to your body. Do not force yourself to fast if you feel genuinely hungry. You can have your coffee or tea after your water and light movement if you want. The fifth habit is optional but powerful: brief cognitive engagement. Spend 5 to 10 minutes reading something meaningful or writing or engaging in a hobby you enjoy. This activates your prefrontal cortex. It activates neuroplasticity. And it sets a thoughtful, intentional tone for the day. Instead of your day starting with reactivity and email and news, it starts with something that matters to you. Now, I want to be clear about something. This routine does not need to be complicated. It does not need to take an hour. In fact, studies show that simpler habits are more sustainable than elaborate ones. You can do all 5 of these things in about 30 to 40 minutes. Some people do them in 20. The key is consistency, not perfection. Some people add more elements over time. Some people keep it simple forever. Both approaches work. What matters is that you actually do it. But there are some common mistakes that people make when they try to build these morning habits, and I want to address them now, so you do not fall into these traps. The first mistake is all or nothing thinking. You miss one morning, and you think to yourself, well, I have broken the streak, so I might as well give up. This is the thinking that destroys most habit formation. The reality is that consistency beats perfection. You are going to miss mornings sometimes. You will travel. You will stay up late. You will have something unexpected happen. What matters is that you get back to it. If you do your morning routine 5 days a week instead of 7, you still get approximately 80% of the benefits. That is still tremendous. 80% consistency gets you 80% of the results. The second mistake is starting too intensely. Someone reads about the benefits, gets excited, and decides to do a 1-hour-long morning workout starting tomorrow. They sustain this for 3 days or maybe a week, and then they burn out. They are exhausted. They ache. They decide the whole thing is not worth it. Start small. 15 to 20 minutes of total time is plenty. Build from there if you want to. The third mistake is ignoring individual differences. Some people wake up naturally energized and ready to move. Other people are naturally slower to wake up. That is okay. Your body is different. Honor that. The key is doing something, not following a rigid script. If you need to take 5 minutes to gradually become conscious before you step outside, that is fine. If you prefer a short walk to jumping into yoga, that is fine. Work with your nature, not against it. The fourth mistake is exercising before hydrating. If you wake up, immediately do a workout, and then drink water, you are exercising in a dehydrated state. This can lead to dizziness, reduced performance, and it is not optimal for your body. Hydrate first, then move. The fifth mistake is skipping light exposure on cloudy days. You think, well, it is cloudy today, so the light will not help. Actually, even cloud-filtered light is beneficial. The key is consistency. Even overcast daylight sends signals to your circadian system. Do not skip it just because it is not a sunny day. The sixth mistake is checking email or social media first thing. You wake up, and immediately you open your phone and start scrolling or checking work messages. This delays the cortisol benefit of light exposure. It fragments your mental space right when your brain is most capable of deep focus. It fills your peak cognitive hours with external stimuli instead of your own intention. Put your phone away for the first hour if you can. If you cannot completely avoid it, at least delay it for 30 minutes. Most people who try morning routines fail not because the routine does not work. The science on this is very clear. They fail because they make one of these predictable mistakes. Knowing about these mistakes now means you can avoid them. There's also a lot of misinformation about morning routines out there, and I want to separate fact from fiction so you know what is true and what is not. The first myth is that you need to exercise intensely in the morning to see longevity benefits. The fact is that consistent gentle movement is often more sustainable and nearly as effective as intense exercise for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. In fact, for some people, intense morning exercise creates too much cortisol elevation and can be counterproductive. Gentle, consistent movement wins over intense, occasional exercise almost every time. The second myth is that you should not eat breakfast if you want to live longer. You may have heard this from people promoting fasting. The fact is that the timing and composition of breakfast matters far more than whether you eat breakfast at all. A balanced breakfast with protein and healthy fat supports your energy and supports muscle retention. Some people do better with intermittent fasting. Some people do better eating breakfast. The point is to listen to your body and choose what makes you feel energized and focused. The third myth is that you need to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be healthy. The fact is that the key is consistency and sun exposure relative to your wake time, not the absolute time on the clock. If you naturally wake up at 7 o'clock and get light exposure within 30 minutes, you will see the same benefits as someone who wakes at 5 o'clock. Your circadian system cares about when you wake relative to the light, not about any particular number on the clock. The fourth myth is that morning routines only work if you do them perfectly every day. The fact is that 80% consistency gets you 80% of the results. Life happens. You will miss days. You will have to adjust. This does not invalidate the entire system. The people who succeed with morning routines are the ones who are flexible and who get back on track, not the ones who are rigid and perfect. The fifth myth is that if you are not a morning person, then this does not apply to you. The fact is that morning routines actually make most people feel more energized and more like morning people. But it does take time. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks for your body to adapt to a new schedule. You will not feel amazing on day 1 or day 2. But if you stick with it for 3 weeks, your circadian rhythm will synchronize. You will start to naturally feel more alert in the morning. You may actually become a morning person, even if you never were before. Let me pull all of this together into the core takeaways, so you leave this video with a clear sense of what matters and what you can actually do. The first key takeaway is that the morning is a longevity window. What you do in the first 1 to 2 hours after waking can influence your health trajectory for decades. This is not hyperbole. This is based on how your circadian system works, and on the research showing that circadian-aligned behaviors predict longevity and health span. The second key takeaway is that 5 simple habits compound powerfully. Natural light exposure, hydration, gentle movement, thoughtful eating, and optional cognitive engagement. These are not complicated. Have you ever wondered why some men in their 60s and 70s seem to have the energy and vitality of someone half their age, consistently, while others have a remarkable impact on your energy, especially at night, your mental clarity, their sleep, and your longevity, their quality of life? The third key takeaway is that small consistent actions that nobody really talks about in mainstream health conversations. Most mornings beats a 90-minute medications or complicated medical procedures. This is because your circadian system and your muscles are putting in your body every single day. They adapt to what you do regularly. One simple food might hold more power than you realize. Consistent research has been quietly showing us for years that certain nutrients can support healthy prostate function is that you do not need perfection. But here is the problem. 80% consistency most men do not is enough to see meaningful results in 3 to 6 months. Hype. And which ones can genuinely make a difference in how they feel, more stable energy, how well they sleep, you will notice how the body functions as they get older. You will notice better focus. This is not a scare tactic. These changes compound over time. This is not me trying to convince you that you have a problem and realize that you are living a fundamentally different understanding what science tells us about supporting your body the way is that adaptation takes time. Think about what happens in your body after 1 week. Give yourself around age 4 weeks to feel the benefits. Changes begin. Your body needs time to recalibrate. Your circadian system needs naturally increases in men. Your muscles need time to become more sensitive but to this compound. 3 weeks, and over time, this can lead to an enlarged prostate. The sixth key takeaway is that this is personalization, affects up to 80% of men by the time they reach their 70s. Your preferences and your physical abilities. That is not something unusual. If you cannot go outside for light exposure because of mobility issues, but here's where it gets interesting. If you cannot do a walk, not every man experiences uncomfortable symptoms. If you do not like from yoga, an enlarged prostate, do tai chi or light some men stay active The
energized,
principle is what
and
matters.
completely unbothered.
The specific
their
implementation
lives.
should be tailored
Others
to you.
start struggling
Now,
in their late
before
40s.
I wrap up, I
What
want to
makes
say
the
something
difference?
important.
A lot of it
Aging
comes
is
down
not
to
nutrition,
and
the
that
habits they
narrative
have
is
built
wrong.
over decades.
Aging is
And this is
evolution.
where one
If you
particular
actively
nut
engage
keeps
with it,
showing up in
you
research
have more
again and
control
again.
over your
The
health
pumpkin
span than
seed,
you have been told.
technically a seed rather than
Starting
a
is the
nut,
hardest part.
contains something
The momentum
called
builds very
phytosterols.
quickly.
These are
Once you
plant-based
experience
compounds
what
that
it feels
research
like to have
suggests
stable
may help
energy
block the
and
conversion
better
of
sleep and
testosterone
more strength
to
and more
DHT
mental clarity
in the prostate
you
tissue.
will not want
Think
to go
of
back.
DHT
This
like
is
a
not
volume
selfish.
knob.
Prioritizing your health
may help
means
turn
you will
that
have
volume
more
down
energy
for the
Additionally,
people you love.
pumpkin
You
seeds
will
are
be able
incredibly
to
rich
travel
in
with
zinc,
your family.
a mineral that
You will
plays
be
a
able
crucial
to play
role
with
in
your
prostate health
grandchildren
and immune
You
function.
will be able to
Many
pursue
men,
hobbies,
especially
you
as
will
they
be able
age,
to contribute.
are unknowingly
You
deficient
will be
in zinc,
able to live
and this
fully.
deficiency
Your
can
health is
accelerate
not
the
just
problems
about
they
you.
experience.
It is about
Pumpkin
everyone who
seeds
matters
also
to you.
contain omega-3
30
fatty
extra
acids
years
and
of
magnesium,
vitality and
both
clarity
of
and
which support
presence
inflammation
is worth a
response in the body
20-minute morning
and overall
commitment.
cardiovascular
That is
health,
one of the best
which is
trades you will
directly
ever
connected
make.
to prostate
You are
health.
not alone
But
in
before
this
you
journey.
think this is just
Many
about
people
eating
in
a
your
handful
age
of
group
pumpkin
are
seeds
reclaiming
and
their
suddenly
health
your
right
prostate
now.
problems
They are
disappear.
proving that
Let me be
decline is not
completely honest with
inevitable.
you. They are
No single
rebuilding
food
their
is a
strength.
cure.
They
No
are
single food will
restabilizing
magically
their energy.
reverse years
They are living
of poor
better than they
nutrition
did 5
habits.
years ago.
What we are
The
talking
question
about
is not
hey,
whether you
is
have
supporting
time
your
for
body
a
with the
morning
right
routine.
nutrients.
The
so it
question
can function the way it
can
is
you
supposed
afford
to.
not to have
Results vary
when you think about the
significantly
next
from
30
person to
years
person.
and you think about
Some
how
men
much you
see
want
noticeable
those years to
improvements
matter,
and symptoms
how much you
within
want
a
to be
few
present
weeks
and
and changing
capable
their
and
diet.
energized.
Others
It becomes
take
clear
several
that a
months.
morning routine
And some
is
men
not
who
a
make
luxury.
these changes
It
feel
is essential.
improvements in energy,
If this video
sleep
has helped
quality,
you think differently
and
about
overall
your health
vitality
and about
even
what is
before they
possible in the
notice
next
specific
chapter of your
prostate-related changes,
then please subscribe.
So what does
We
supporting
dive
prostate
deeper
health
into longevity
through
science
nutrition
and
actually
aging
look
myths and
like in
practical
your
habits
daily
every
life?
single week.
First,
Let us
everything is
talk about
tailored
how
to
much
people like
pumpkin
you who
seeds
want
you
to age
actually
with
need.
intention.
Research
Not
suggests
age.
that consuming
And
about
I would
20
love to
to
hear
30
from you.
grams of
What
pumpkin
is
seeds
one
per day,
morning habit
which is
that
roughly
you are
a
going
quarter
to start
cup or a
with?
small
Are you
handful,
going to start
may
with
provide
light
meaningful
exposure?
support.
Are you going
This
to
is not
start
an
with
overwhelming
hydration?
amount.
Are you going
This
to
is something
start
you
with
can
a short
easily
walk?
incorporate
Drop
into
your
your
answer
breakfast,
in the comments.
add to a salad,
I
or
read
snack
every
on
single
in the
comment.
afternoon, and your
You can eat
experience
them
might
raw,
inspire
lightly
someone else
roasted with
who is
sea
watching
salt,
this video
or even
right
add
now.
pumpkin seed
Thank
oil
you
to
for
your
watching.
salads and meals.
I hope this has
But
given you
pumpkin
some hope
seeds are
and
just
some
the beginning of
practical
the
tools
story.
to take
If you really
control
want
of
to
your health
support
starting
healthy
tomorrow
prostate
morning.
function,